So you get to work at what time? Hello there, very special good evening to you and welcome to Mr. Chairman. I'm David Samuels. Very nice of you to have you attend one of our weekly meetings. You know, we first had him on some 10 months ago, and what a sensation he was. Well, we've brought him back only because you've requested it. So on this week's Mr. Chairman, we speak with the charismatic and tell it as it is Felix de Turville, also known as Champagne, employed as a red cap at the Hiwanara International Airport. We discussed the proposed Hiwanara International Development, the controversial, you could say, DSH project, tourism development plans for the South and elsewhere. What is the public talking about in the South? That's VA4 and Miku and Labrie. A close look at the UWP's and PM Shasney's performances, the Castries Constituencies Council, speculation about the emergence of a third political party, and he highlights some issues with a cable provider. All that and more, plus your calls, of course, on Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. Welcome to our meeting once again. From Grosley in the north to VA4 in the south, those of you on the eastern coastline, right through to the western coastline, thank you very much for attending our meeting. Hey, welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Nice to
Chairman.
have you.
Glad to be back.
Really nice to have you.
Thank you.
You know, I just have to say, what an impression you made. The last time you were here, it was February. And yes, and one of the things which I'm getting used to it now, the number of people, amazingly, who would stop me during the week, sometimes shopping or walking around somewhere,
Right.
always want to engage me in some discourse. Oh, I saw Sam Flood, I saw Champagne, I like this, I like that, I wasn't so sure about this or that. And it really amazed me. And something else that has amazed me as well, sometimes I would be at a shop and I would just say a few words.
Right.
You know, like, what's the price of this? Or, hello, good afternoon. And, you know, you'd have the person look at you, the lady, usually the lady.
Yeah. You recognize the voice?
I know that voice.
That's
Are
right.
you?
That's
Are
right.
you? Sometimes they off target
That's
in
right.
terms of the name, but usually they are right on target. So it's really amazing, and I just want to thank you once again for being here. What's the situation down at Hiwanara? I mean, since we last spoke, I know that what's the situation with incoming flights and the general condition of the Hiwanara International Airport?
Well, the conditions of the airport itself has not changed. I mean, it's just the same old terminal building.
Does it embarrass you?
Oh, especially when it rains. We had, it's been raining for the last 2 weeks.
So when it rains, it actually, the place...
It does not matter how much, and I'll be honest with you, this last personnel, they're trying so hard to try to fix these patches. They put a little patch on the roof, they're still tight and stuff, something like that, but it doesn't work. It's overwhelmed with the rain. And it's so embarrassing to see all that water coming into the terminal. You have to, the personnel have to put some buckets here, buckets here, buckets here. It's been happening for years. That's been happening for years. But
I've never seen that.
Oh my God.
I've never seen that anywhere.
There was one point in time I literally counted at least 17 buckets.
17 buckets?
17 buckets. And I'm talking about, you're not talking about little drips. You're talking about pouring like a waterfall.
So I want to ask you,
Seriously.
as a St. Lucian, first,
Very embarrassing.
what are the tourists saying? What are the visitors saying? What are St. Lucians saying when they see this?
Listen to me. The locals, when they come in, they say, so pourquoi manger airport salad and chou? Serious. You heard all the time from the locals. The visitors don't say anything, but you could sense something. You could see it on them, the expression, because some of them get wet because they have to run from that aircraft and come in. And when they get in there, they would say, oh boy, my troubles are over, but there's more water coming from the roof inside the terminal. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're going to walk through it because the buckets all there. And then there's this, those yellow tape that they put around this bucket. Sometimes they put a cone to identify the drips. It is so, listen to me, it is so sad to see that.
So why hasn't the ANC Ports Authority made a statement? I mean, from time to time. I know it's an embarrassing issue, but you confront it by making a statement dealing with it.
You see, making a statement
just brings it,
and at least it exposes it a little more.
Yeah.
Because if you make a statement and the other 2 weeks somebody comes in, a local for that matter, that heard the statement you made, and then nothing was done. So it goes back. It's better you don't say anything. Because this week, for that matter, this week, last week, buckets are scattered all over the place. It is so embarrassing for you as a worker, as an airport personnel. It's very embarrassing. And like I said, the expression on the faces of the passengers, the visitors coming in, you could tell that they're really disappointed in seeing that. Seriously, I'm so happy that we will, I should say will, because the Prime Minister has indicated that there's going to be a construction of a new terminal. So let's hope that really comes in soon to take all this embarrassment from the personnel at the airport and St. Lucia by extension, because it's terrible.
I'm ready. I'm very happy that I have not witnessed this, because I'm trying to figure out how I would react when it cannot be a very nice.
Very ridiculous. There was one time at the customs, the baggage area, the customs supervisor at the time, I think that was earlier this year or sometime last year. It was raining and the water came down so hard you would have sworn it was a waterfall, not just a stream. A huge amount of water, and customs officer, the supervisor wanted to shut down the place just because, and I think they brought in some airport personnel, and I think they went to the roof and tried to fix that. It was bad.
How long has this thing been going on?
I'm down there 2007.
So it's been a perennial problem? It's been going on for years?
For years. I went down there from VG in 2007. It's now 10 years. I met that stuff down there.
You met it there?
I met it there.
In 2007 you met it?
I met that problem. I met it and it has gotten
worse.
It has gotten worse.
Do you get a sense that they know what's wrong or what? Or they're not very sure?
I think they know what the problem is. The problem is on the roof, but I do not know if it has to do with the construction and the design of the way the roof is. Because if you realize the way you know the roofing is, it has some arches. I don't know if you paid close attention to it. It has some kind of V arches in the design of the roof. I do not know if that is what the problem. That is what the problem is, because it has that V kind of arch stuff, a whole lot of them, maybe about 20. So I don't know if during that time when it was constructed, if that could be the problem. I do not know, but I'm thinking that
I'm just
may have
amazed by something you said a few moments ago, that there was a particular day you counted 17
I had
buckets?
it on my phone.
17 buckets.
If I did not lose that phone, and I would have showed it to you. 17, and they were all in the departure area, in the arrival area, all over the place. 17. I literally videoed that. Took it on my own.
And this has been going on now for 10 years.
More than 10 years. I went down there in 2007. It's 10 years now. I'm down.
That is unbelievable.
It's really unbelievable. I don't know what. Trust me, it beats me. I could never understand what's the problem.
Okay, but even if there is going to be, well, we've heard talk of a new terminal building. I rather suspect, I don't know, they'll condemn this one and build another. But that's going to take time. You know, usually construction of this is a massive development. That would probably take a couple of years.
4 years, that's a big project.
You know, and it's, so we just have to live with this for a while yet.
You know, the funny thing about that is there's no way I would point a finger at SLASPA and blame SLASPA for anything. Maybe you could say, well, they should do a little more to, try to prevent that all that water coming into the terminal. But this building is, 1993? That would take us to about 20-something years, 24 years? That's a long time ago. That is a long time ago for that building.
It kind of makes you wonder whether the maintenance on it was good.
Yeah.
You know, because when you have a an investment like this, you really need to maintain
It
it.
has to be maintained all the time.
And I think a lot of people would agree that seems to be our weak point, maintenance. If you look all around the infrastructure in this country,
Bridges.
government buildings, fire services,
That's right.
police
You're right.
stations, for some
Bridges.
reason, bridges.
Bridges,
We
roads.
just build those things
And just forget about
and
them.
forget
That's
about
right.
them,
That's
which
right.
is stupid.
That's right. And now,
You know,
because we're
it's-
on that subject, I don't know if I could just diverge a little bit into something that I've been noticing that is totally ridiculous. It has to do with the grass cutting around the island. And I've been saying that all the time. $250,000 or maybe $500,000 is put aside to cut grass or to do the cleanup campaign every 3 months. But then it has just been done last week. Okay? You know how fast grass grows. Someone comes from overseas maybe the next 2 weeks after that. They said, but you guys don't clean the place, but the place was just cleaned a week ago. So I've been saying the maintenance of grass cutting is what has to be done in St. Lucia. So you get a couple of guys from every constituency, and this is what is going to help you create at least 170 people get a new job. You get 10 guys from each constituency, 17 constituencies, that's 170 new people. And every week or every 2 weeks, these guys are responsible to maintain the level of that grass, to keep it low, keep it clean, and keep it nice. I am certainly sure at the end of the day, the government would pay less money by every 3 months or every 2 months giving this huge amount of money for a stimulus package, and 2 weeks later the grass is back to the same level.
Yeah, especially if it's
Does not
raining
make
a lot.
sense.
It's raining a lot these days. It is something that has concerned me coming from the Mon into Castries. Sometimes I'm embarrassed
Oh,
because there's a lot of bush,
and they without
and I mean sometimes you even as you drive by the bush, depending, you're very close to the
Yep,
to the
to the
curb,
curb.
and it creates a problem with your visibility sometimes.
a lady just
No,
went up the
it-
road. She just got her car totally written off in Topiton. There's this pole, this wall. I think it's on the edge of a drain. And she was driving. She said, the grass was so high, it was higher than that wall. She never saw it. She thought it was some grass, and she just slid off the road and total write-off. Right, and because of the grass, she could not see the wall.
That's sad.
But here's the amazing thing. Do you know that the Mon and everywhere you're talking about was just done a month ago? It was just done a month ago. Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So what is the plan? You say every 3 months?
But it's every
But how
3
could
months.
that be? Grass is something you have to. You see, we go back to maintenance again.
That is what I'm trying
You
to bring
cannot.
across.
You cannot just do that once every 3 months. It doesn't make sense.
Even once every 3 months, twice, every 2 months, it doesn't work that way.
have to-
But if
you have to maintain.
you must maintain it. And the place would be kept. The place would be well beautiful. It would nice every time, because you have people that would go around the very constituencies and keep that grass level to a low point. That's the only way
But it
would
is
work.
costly, eh?
It is but
It
I'll
is
tell you
costly.
what, I have not done the actual math on it to figure out which one would be less costly between the two, between the stimulus package every 3 months. But I could tell you, in my constituency, Castries, I could get 10 guys, negotiate with these 10 guys, and have them to maintain these areas for much less than what the government is. I'll tell you why. Not that I'm trying to take monies out of anybody's pocket. If you have guys that are doing nothing for the day, but they own weed eaters, they're not doing anything. They're waiting for the 3 months to get something to do. But you go to these guys, you say, hey, listen, I have a proposal. Every week, every Friday, I would like you to do this here. You go to this Bocage, you Anchipo, you Bagatelle, and I'm giving you this. What do you think these guys would say to you? Listen, these are guys that were doing nothing. If you offer these guys $200 a week, you don't believe they would grab it? They would grab it, because they were doing nothing in this to begin with. You have to maintain the place. These things have to be maintained. You cannot have grass cutting every 2-3 months. It doesn't work.
So do you think your government understands that?
I have brought that up to the city council, and I think the problem is money. I think that's what the problem is. But you have to keep the country clean.
Yeah, you have to.
You need to keep the country clean.
Yes, I am concerned. I have noticed. I mean, it got a little better for a while, but coming down the Mon,
Yeah.
from the Mon to Castries along the way, there's a great deal of.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
It needs to be improved.
Terrible. And I
upon.
drive down to the Beaufort and I go around sometimes. Listen, I've been around this country so many times because I've been driving for a little while. And they're trying to keep it clean, but you know, this is grass. As long as the rain comes the next 2 days,
But
that's it.
one has to be fair. I have to tell you, the St. Lucia Labour Party. I don't know what the methodology was,
In that regard.
but I found that there was a great. The areas were better kept, in my view. I found that everywhere you went, yeah, there were a lot of people. I found in some areas. Sometimes you got a sense there were too many people
Yeah,
working
there were
in
a
too
lot of
much of a
people.
small area.
Yeah, it's true.
But when you traveled from Castries to Vieux along the way, because there are some very lovely areas,
That's
you know,
true. Very
approaching
nice.
Dennery, for
Very
example.
beautiful. And they're clean.
Love,
The area is clean.
there was this sense and appreciation for keeping the grass low and for trimming the trees. There was that. It was very obvious to me. And I would hope, if nothing else, that this government, the United Workers' Party, would have learned a thing or two. I don't know how it was done,
Yeah.
quite frankly, but in my view, they did a better job of maintaining the grounds and the areas around Castries
Yeah.
and right through to Vieux.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about the western coast,
Right.
but certainly I felt that the former government did a better job.
Yeah, I'm not going to be biased because I travel these roads almost every day, and I will tell you, in that regard, it was little better kept.
Yeah.
It was a little better kept. I don't know what they did, who did what, but it was a little better
Yeah.
kept. Not that it was that our guys are not trying to. Our guys need to get stuff together and try to maintain
Yeah.
that same level, but they were doing.
So we
a good
get
job
we
in
get
that
back to
regard.
that point,
Yeah.
maintenance. That's the issue, and some attention needs to be paid to that. So anything else on the Hiwanara International Airport?
Well,
Is there anything else you want to say about that?
you said this airport.
Have there been meetings about that yet? No, nothing.
Well, I would not know about meetings
Okay.
in that regard because they would have their own. The SLAS would have that's not a discussion they would have with our company, our association. But I would like to really commend our guys, the group of guys that we have working as Sky Caps in Beaufort, because a lot of people who are not directly linked with the tourism industry, people such as police officers and nurses, but indirectly you are. Because everybody, our main economy is tourism. So you meet a police officer, they might tell you, well, I really they pass to tourism. This is a very bad statement. Trust me. Seriously, because you are. And our guys, we make it our duty to make these people feel welcome both in and out. When these passengers are leaving, myself and most of the other guys go, how was your vacation, sir? They will tell you, we had a nice time, you have a beautiful island. And one of our chorus we would like to see you next year. Some of the guys say, come back next week. And then the people make a big laugh about that. This is something I have met people that said, I remember you from last year. You told me to come back. So we are serving as ambassadors, no matter how some people may look at the job and look at it as guys that are just carrying bags. It goes way beyond that.
People still do that.
Of course, people do that all the time. They look at you as just guys carrying luggage, carrying luggage for money, carrying luggage for tips. But they don't. They never look at the flip side of that. And the flip side is when these passengers come in, after they get to customs, and they say, "Welcome to St. Lucia, sir," and they feel that welcome. You make them feel special.
How many of you?
They're 15.
15.
15, yeah. We're 15
And
guys.
most of the guys are from the south.
There's myself, another gentleman by the name of Stanley, but now I think he resides down there for whatever reason. So most of the guys are from down there. Like,
Are they viewing us tonight?
Of course.
You sure?
Of course, I know some of them are. I know some of them are. As a matter of fact, let me give a shout out to our president because he had a surgery done today. I think he took up the cyst, and I think the doctor sent him home for maybe a couple of days. But he's one of the most remarkable guys you could ever meet.
15 of you.
Yeah, 15.
Wow, that's remarkable.
That's a lot of guys. Yeah.
Is it a very difficult job?
In the off season, it is.
Because you're not making
You
enough
don't
money.
make anything in the off season.
But when you make, you make.
Oh yeah, when the season is on, like it's about to get started,
Yeah.
like from November up until April of next year, you make some money. You make some money, but you have to be on your feet. And people, and me now getting older, and then I had that accident and stuff. It's getting a little slow for me. But then, listen to me. I will not trade this job, and no matter what people might want to think about it, I will not trade this job for no other job here in this country. Not one. I've said that 100 times. I will not trade it. You get to meet interesting people. I mean, it has its little problems. We have little problems. As a matter of fact, we're undergoing a little situation at the baggage hall, and that situation has been going on for decades. And the authorities, I'm so happy that I could take this opportunity to say that tonight. We are the operators of the baggage at the baggage hall. We pay to operate. And I would like the local public, the local traveling public, to understand that we do not get a salary from anybody. Not from the government, not from the airlines, not from anyone. We, in return, have to pay SLASPA to operate. So we are an entity. We are an association at the Beaufort Airport. Every man has to pay to operate at the airport. So our president writes a check to SLASPA. But then we have some hindrances because it's about money. So the guys working with CDSL, at the ones that take the bags in, we are constantly in a battle with these guys every day. So what happens, the passengers, they're the first guys they meet. So the passengers, they go around asking the passengers for help. Then the passengers pays most of them out there. When the passengers get to us now, they say, but we just pay somebody down there. So most of the times we have to lose that because somebody got paid down there. We have brought that
So
up.
those people are inside.
They are inside next to the
And you
carousel,
guys are on
and
the
we are the
outside.
outside of customs, in the back of customs.
So
We have brought-
why isn't this regulated?
Listen
Well,
to me, Brother Dave.
yeah.
We have brought that up to SLASPA's attention over 2 million times. We have had meetings. We have had meetings with the personnel.
So the guys who carry the bags once it's at the carousel,
that's the guys
they
that take the
it.
bag in from the aircraft.
Are they also called
No,
red
they're not
caps?
skycaps. They work for the airline company.
I see.
And that has nothing to do with their jobs.
I
But we
see.
have been, listen to me, every day for decades, and we could never understand why is it that the local authority, meaning SLASPA and the other people, could never come to understand, to ask these guys, this is not your job.
Wow, that's
This is I'm so happy that I know some people might want to get upset with me tomorrow, but I'm taking this opportunity to say that.
yeah.
And we are in the process. We right now we're in the process to getting our lawyers to write to these entities to have these guys.
I'm
stop.
glad you mentioned it. And that is that's amazing.
It's very unfair.
That's amazing. DSH.
Oh boy.
There was so much hype
Yeah.
not too long ago, and even the controversy,
Yeah.
all the
Talk the
various
demonstrations,
groups
yeah.
and demonstrations and hype. All of a sudden, everything has cooled down.
Well,
What are you hearing?
well, the SLB for starters is claiming victory.
They're claiming
They're
victory,
claiming victory because
as in
that they have gotten the DHS to either be delayed or stop, because the initial when this thing first came about, Mr. T.R. King said that we were going to have a horse race in December. You remember that statement
Yes,
was made, right?
yes.
So that has not happened, and that will not happen this year.
Yes.
So from what I'm hearing from some SLP operators, they're saying they're claiming victory that DHS has been stopped.
Really?
But listen to me. If DSH comes to a stop,
The Prime Minister had said something about some environmental issue that
I saw that
was
press
taking so
conference. They say
long
it took 8 months.
Yeah, which surprised everybody.
How is that possible?
Yes, it's just one of those.
How is a
things.
government,
Some EIA report?
a government department, is supposed to submit something to the Prime Minister, which I do not believe was supposed to take 2 months? It's taking 8.
Well,
What you do? I'm asking you a question. What do you think about that?
that's intriguing.
Very intriguing. Very intriguing.
That's very intriguing.
Very worrisome. Very.
It doesn't surprise
concerned.
me.
Well,
It doesn't surprise me. It's just one of the things. I've heard that the new administration has been facing from time to time.
Yeah.
There seems to be quite a lot of blockages here and there and everywhere. And to be quite honest, sometimes I'm a bit surprised that they are surprised about those blockages and so on. And you get a sense that they were not really prepared for it, and that surprises me some.
But I often wonder, why is it that an administration is in government for 5 years, but people are issued contracts for 10 and 15? For me, no government agency or worker should have a contract past the term, a 5-year term, because the government has 5 years.
True.
So why would an SLP government in power?
So the system is all messed up as a result of it.
But then it could be fixed. You just the legislation has to be passed to 5-year contract to everybody, because a government's term is 5 years.
Yeah.
Why would you issue a contract for a PS or whoever for 10? Because you don't even have any guarantee that your government will remain in power. And this is the problem this administration is going through right now.
And the thing is, too, you mentioned PS, and I think, sadly, and I remember once talking to Sir John, and he said something to me which I've never forgotten. He said to me, Dave, there are 2 agencies of government that you should never tamper with.
Right.
The first is the civil service.
Okay.
The second, the police.
Yeah, you shouldn't mess with these people.
You should not politicize. You stay away from politics. And the career public servants, we all know what happened many years ago when the new government came in, and you had people who just being moved. Just being moved and
talk of affirmative action and all that kind of stuff.
It's not good for the public service.
No.
It's something which should not have happened. How this government reconciles and tries to change the direction of this is another matter. But you should rely on your career public servant. You do not want to politicize the public service. It should be resisted at all times, should not be tolerated, should not be encouraged. And the same for the police. I was very heartened when I heard the former police commissioner at a conference, Vernon Francois, yesterday. And he was talking about that, almost as if he's probably an expert, on what what he's been through, Very, very interesting.
But you see, the politician, the parliamentarian in government becomes God Almighty overnight. The next day, there are few government agencies that becomes God Almighty the next day of ensuing office. Police officers are like that. We have a whole lot. They have customs officials who are like that. They speak to you in a tone of
hush.
Oh my goodness.
Authority.
Oh my goodness.
I'm in charge.
One guy pulled me over one time, and I have all my documents in place. License, registration, my tires are okay. Pull me over. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Pull me over. License and insurance.
He shouts at you.
Of course, no. Excuse me. I'm not saying the man has to kiss me, but you know what I'm saying. But you say we are conducting a traffic search. I would like to see your driver's license. Driver's insurance. So you cannot jump. You have to hand it in. The guys become so powerful overnight. We are citizens of this country. We have to work with each other.
But this is very much, in my view, it's not just customs and police officers. It's a very St. Lucian thing now.
So. Yeah, all of a sudden.
Very, very St. Lucian thing. I'm not sure how that started, where it started. In fact, I was talking to Sam Flood last week on this program, and I asked him what is the most embarrassing situation that he has ever faced, and he collected his thoughts and said to me, sometimes when he goes walking down the street, people just jiwe him. call him names and so on. I said, but why would they do that? And then he said, well, because I expose a lot of things on the air. Like, this father is meddling with his daughter, and he might just get a little soupçon.
That's right.
So he goes on the air and he says it, or not necessarily gives the whole story, but just gives a hint. And he says when he encounters the guy, or in some cases the woman, as the case may be, they would meet him and cuss him up pretty badly and yell at him and so on. So he confronts, he has that problem. But I find in St. Lucia, and it's something that I have said time and time again, especially small tradespeople, I find that there is a sense that they're doing you a favor. It doesn't matter if it's a restaurant, it's a bar, it's a bakery, it's a small supermarket, it's a rum shop. There's this sense like when you go there, I'll give you an example of something which happened, and I went to this, and I'll probably ask you, or maybe I'll tell you what. Let's take our first break. And when we come back, I want to put a question to you, and I'll probably give you a very interesting story.
All right.
You are viewing Mr. Chairman. I'm David Samuel.
Check your approved rubber hose regularly for cracks and change it every 2 years. Check the hose clips to ensure that they are in good working condition, properly fastened and secured.
Residents are evacuating. Fire control 829.
At Casabella, we know how to split in the middle, and we're doing it this year with a store-wide sale of 40 to 50% off. Choose from a wide selection of comforters and bedsheets, 50% off. Kitchen mats, 50% off. Towels and stainless steel pots and pans, 40% off. And the best quality rugs you'll find in stores at 50% off. It's the craziest pre-Christmas sale that you've been waiting for. Shop now and save 40 to 50% off on all your favorite housewares. Offer ends till stocks last. Casabella, a store created with you in mind. Exclusively at Baywalk. Sale starts Thursday, October 26th.
This Christmas will be your best ever with fixed hassle-free 24-hour approval of loans at relatively low interest rates. Get your new furniture and appliances, quick home repairs and gift purchases. All customers who participate in our Christmas promo qualify for a chance to win in our year-end draw. First prize, 1-core i5 laptop with all the bells and whistles. Second prize, 1-core i3 laptop. And third prize, 1 iPad. Call or visit us at number 15 Bridge Street, Castries, telephone 458-8700, or Providence Commercial Building, Rodney Bay, telephone 458-8740. Offer ends December 31st. Fix, a company you can trust.
Mango plus clothing plus sale equals what? Answer 50% off. Shop at Mango and save up to 50% off. Ladies casual tops were $30, now $15. Working tops, long and short sleeves, ladies jeans, working skirts, and more. Remember, it's all going at 50% off and more. For the men, plaid shorts were $45, now $22.50. Men's hoodies, 3/4 jeans, long skinny jeans, and plaid shirts were $35, now $17.50. It's all going down at Mango Sportswear on Miku Street, Castries. 50% off and more now until stocks last.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta, enjoy the real Fruta, refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta.
And what's all this about buying chocolates? And Joy, why haven't you thrown these things yet?
Relax, mommy. We're taking these things to Joie Cali. Joie Cali, the 10th outside Massy stores at Shock. You have to bring all your plastic and glass containers. Make sure you wash them clean and they sanitize. They will weigh them and you get points from Massy.
But the chocolate!
Yay! That's it.
Well, let me help you with this.
The Joie Cali pop-up depots will be set up every Saturday from now till November 11th from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. 3 convenient Massy Stores locations to collect your household glass and plastic items.
Présent nous kay sa acheter plus commission côté Massy.
Hello there, welcome back. I'm David Samuels and I'm here with Mr. Felix de Turville, also known as Champagne, who is a red cap at the Hiwanara International Airport. So before I mention my question, before I bring up, well, maybe I should bring up the question to you. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever encountered? And it could be political or whatever, personal, at the Hiwanara, apart from the 17 buckets you told me about. What's the most embarrassing thing?
You see, Dave, I've always tried to live my life a very jovial person. I've never get into any major confrontation with anybody. But because I've gotten myself involved with the politics, you know, a few decades back, it has been very, it gets more intense every time. It gets more intense.
Do you get heckled?
And, of course, that's the one I think that would be the most
Labour Party
one.
operatives, they heckled you a lot?
Just after the election. I went to an establishment in Bexon. That's a place on a Thursday night where they sell, you know, sauce. And
in Bexon?
In Bexon. I think it's called Like It Bar. I think that happened last year, September, just after the election, a couple months. And there were two guys sitting on the back of a pickup truck. And as I went in, one guy said, "You know, they pay me to shoot you."
A guy actually
said, "They pay me to shoot you." I say, "Well."
And then what was your response?
I said, I've heard that before, my brother. But I'm also saying to you, when I'm on a political platform, or I call a radio station, or I call a television station, I never say anything that is a lie on anybody. I come to the issues, I say what is supposed to be said. I do not say false stuff on anybody. So if anybody pay you to shoot me, I guess that's the way I have to go. But I also said, you're not the only one with an index finger. He said, "Man, we just joking, man, champion, we just joking, man." But I didn't take it as a joke. I never even made a report. Never made a report to the police or anything. That was it's not that, you see, I've heard little hints in that regard. People always say stuff, people call me names because I had the political leader, Alan Chasney, on my vehicle from 2014. And I had a writing in the front and the back of my car. It says, "Alan Chasney, St. Lucia's next Prime Minister." And I got a heckle and people cursed me and all kinds of stuff. They call me slave. Listen to me. Let me tell you something. In all my years of going around in political, trust me, this last time was the worst. People call me slave. A guy met me at the top of Carly. He was doing some weed cutting, some bush.
They must have said Alan was your master.
Oh my God! They call me Uncle Tom. Guys call me slave. You're slave. You're slave. Guy got into a little argument with me on the top of Carly, top of BZ. And that one was very heated up. I said, "My brother, you choose not to get involved in politics. We all do something that we like. You probably might be smoking. I don't smoke. So if I choose to get involved with politics, there's nothing wrong with that." And the man went off on me and told me, "You could never see Alan being a prime minister and Alan have to kick you." And let me tell you something, brother Dave. This last election, I mean, I've been around a little bit. This one was the worst. So the two guys sat there. One was doing all the talking. The other one just sat there. Said, "They pay me to shoot you." Yeah.
Could you imagine a guy actually saying that?
They pay me to shoot you. Just because I'm on the radio, television, calling these programs and, you know, going on political platform.
Did you ever think it was going to become like that, so intense? Because we were never like that.
We were not like that, but I'll tell you what, because of the power, some of the politicians, they love that power and they have no way to handle it when they're out of office. They cannot handle it. These guys would like to be seen. They walk into a room and everybody at the time has to say, "Mr. Prime Minister" or "Mr. Minister." They have that expectation from the people. And then the other things it comes with, the perks, the VIP, the diplomacy.
Traveling.
Let me tell you something. And the ex-Prime Minister, you think when he went out of say, I'm no longer the political leader of the SLP, that's just talk for one night. They cannot live without it. And Brother Dave, these guys, they have tasted blood. You see, when just like when a lion goes after a gazelle or a deer, and the sink its teeth into the gazelle's throat, and it tastes that blood.
So it's like a poison. It's like an addiction.
My God.
I heard someone was telling me this morning it is worse than alcohol or cocaine or marijuana addiction.
They cannot do without it. Cannot do without it. Friend of mine told me, Sir John, and I'm saying that now because one time a guy had me to believe that Sir John's re-entering into politics back in 2004 after he had resigned. I said, but all the people were asking Sir John to come back. He said, no, Champagne. Sir John came back. Yes, some of the people were asking him, but he came back because of what he had been.
No.
He has been a politician all his life.
I don't agree.
So I said, no. I said, we were begging Sir John to come back.
Precisely.
Sir John had given up on that thing.
Sir John had given up. Sir John had given up.
He said, boy, Champagne.
I believe I know one of the reasons why Sir John came back, because I did an interview with him in 2004 as part of the 25th anniversary of St. Lucia's independence. I had interviewed all the prime ministers.
Right.
They were all alive then. Even Alan Weezy and Winston Snack, they were alive at the time. And I remember in his office, he was considering returning because people were at him.
Everybody was asking him.
Everybody thought the flambeau was finished. Remember, the alliance had broken up.
That's right.
And a lot of people were after Sir John to come back. And I remember him saying something to me. It went like this. Oh, he has looked at what he has built over the years, and it seems like, the way he put it,
it's been destroyed.
They are trying to destroy his legacy.
I remember that.
And trying to airbrush him out of history. I never forgot that. I thought that was the way he coined it, was so beautiful. They're trying to airbrush me out of history, Dave. And so I need to come back. And my party needs me. If I don't do it now, we may be in the wilderness. And he also said something. He said there are a lot of people who supported his party who were being badly treated by the administration at the time. And there he was. He couldn't do anything for them. He couldn't help them. And consequently, all of that motivated him to come out.
Let me say something to you. And you know, some people might not want to believe this. The former Prime Minister, and you know, in 1997, leading up to the general elections, our president at the time, he is no longer with us. He's not dead, but he got ill. And during the campaign, former Prime Minister and his entourage, they went into the guy's yard. And he ran them out because he said, I'm not with you all, I'm not Labour and Flambeau, and I'm not Labour. You wouldn't believe that. The Labour Party won in 1997. 1 week later, I was not at the airport then, but that's the story. The guys are sharing that almost every time. They conducted a trolley. Our guys, we in the back of the customs, and we get the bags coming out after customs is through with the passenger. The Prime Minister was on board, came down to the airport, and asked every passenger, they were conducting something to sabotage the Red Caps Association. Listen to that. Listen. Ask every passenger to use the cuts and go outside with their bags. Every passenger. So one guy, our
Prime Minister,
my brother,
was involved in that.
Listen to me. Our president today had SLP scarred in his head from his barber, because he was an SLP then. He drove an old white Pajero the former Prime Minister used to have at the time. When the SLP won in 1997, that same gentleman, our president today, jumped off a building. He was so jubilant, so happy, almost lost his life. So that same guy with the SLP still printed in his head said, but Sir John spent all that time and that would never happen. The former Prime Minister said to him, Chief, you better watch your mouth. Go and rest on the wall. Chief. You better watch him up, and SLP is still marked out in his head. I'll give you another incident regarding the same Prime Minister. You know, I'm a person that speak my mind, and you know, I like I said, I don't say tales on people. I speak the truth. I say things that I've never tried to upset anybody with the truth. If they get upset, it's up to them. In 2012, after the SLP had won the election, our association would form it. After that 1997 incident, the Red Caps formed the Red Caps Association. That means we are in charge of our own affairs. 2012, the former Prime Minister came back into office. He sent in a guy to the airport manager. Now, there's a protocol regarding to before you become a Sky Cap. You have to have a background check. You have to have a training, some form of training, because you can't just come from anyone, just meet any tourist and just speak your mind and just say anything. So I'm going upstairs to the airport manager's office along with the president, and the airport manager has a letter, and it's written to the president. As of today, this gentleman, John, as just says, John, is starting operation forthwith. That letter is coming from the Prime Minister's office. Guy sitting right there in the uniform already. Sitting right there. No involvement with the association. No acknowledgement, nothing. Just send a guy and send two guys and just start working. In an association. So when I tell you this authority these people have, they can't really do without it. It's amazing. They have that power. Can't do without it.
The people who follow them are really fools.
You could say
most of the people who follow them are fools.
They've been badly influenced.
They've been indoctrinated.
Very much so. Very much so. And they love these people. They see them as gods. They see them as gods. Down in Beaufort, you know the area called Bruceville, Shantytown. That area is a disaster waiting to happen, God forbid, because I'm not praying for anything bad to happen to anybody. But I'm telling you, the way this place is constructed, the way it is, if you have any fire, you have any major hurricane, you have any sea swells, these people are going to be in problems. Big problems.
I've never trusted politicians. I've always given them the respect due to them.
Should, as human beings.
And but I've never trusted them. I've had my issues with both political parties. I remember I was a very good friend of George Odlum, and who didn't love George Odlum? His oratory and mobilizational ability. I mean, there is no one in St. Lucia up to this day who comes close. And I remember the level of victimization, just because I followed George for a while. That doesn't mean to say that I approved of everything George did, right. Because I was very open, very outspoken. I speak my mind, and the things that I've said to many politicians, I know sometimes they don't like what, because you're supposed to keep quiet, shut up, and listen, and do their bidding.
And that's the problem I'm going.
I have that problem.
I'm going for that.
And I remember being victimized. There were people like Romanus and others.
You can't speak.
Who wouldn't talk to me for a year or two because of George, you're too close to George, and so on.
You cannot speak.
And it's very sad. And it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
That's true.
It's very, very sad. And it's as if these guys, they do not learn. A party is rejected, a government is rejected. You're supposed to analyze the results of the election, and you're supposed to be humble.
That's right.
And we've had so many songs, so many calypsos being composed about politicians.
Every year.
I mean, who was it who had this song? You don't go and get me voter again. What's her name? The lady.
Lynn.
Not Lynn.
Black Pearl.
There's so many songs about politicians.
The guys take everything for granted.
They just do not get it.
They don't get it.
They don't stay humble and grounded.
It's so amazing.
And they act like they're going to be there forever.
All the time. That is the problem. That's the problem I'm having. That's the problem.
And they're not going to be.
It could never happen. It's so amazing when I hear the member for Castries East talk about victimization. Sometimes I have to really laugh. I could not walk at the airport if a Labour Party operative don't come to me and say, we will take you out from there. Kenny will move you. We'll make Mr. Pierre fire you from the airport.
Wow.
Every day.
Wow.
Every day we'll move you from the airport. I've been around the airport from 1979. Before any of these guys were even thinking of politics.
Wow.
But because they have become so authoritative, so powerful, they have that right to just come into the airport because Champagne is supporting the United Workers' Party to just get him out of the airport. Just move him. Nothing but that. That's how these guys think. Trust me. And I'm just one incident, just one.
I could
there
imagine.
Are thousands.
I could imagine.
Thousands.
That's just amazing.
It's
absolutely amazing. We're talking about DSH. We kind of strayed a bit. Very good stuff.
We
Good
came
stuff.
away from our agenda.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. It's good to record all that stuff. Very good. So, DSH, I rather suspect the Prime Minister will make a statement when he returns about where is this heading. But in your opinion, there are a lot of people in the Vieux-Fort area who are really looking forward to.
There are some people, but lately, you know what a lot of people have been saying, especially Flambos, United Workers' Party supporter. They say they would love to see the Prime Minister move DSH and put it somewhere up in the north and live here for the land. And two other guys addressed the Prime Minister on that. One time he came in, the Prime Minister said no. Listen to what the Prime Minister said, and I was very pleased to hear him say that. The Prime Minister said, I have an obligation
to the people of the South.
Provide
employment.
And he was, when the two guys approached him and said that to him, he said, no, I have an obligation to move.
Yeah, but that is not the way.
That's
not the way decisions are made.
Exactly.
Because somebody just said, "Oh, why don't you put it in the north?"
And then the Prime Minister is bigger than that. He's not going to accept that on face value. I mean, somebody walks up to him and just says that, but the Prime Minister is not going to pay attention. But like I said, I've been after work. We hang out a whole lot in Vieux-Fort. I've been down. Trust me, you would believe I'm from down that area. Most of the people don't want it. I met two young ladies at the gas station, at the Ruby's gas station. And that's during the time it was very heated on both sides. I say, what do you think about DSH? And both of them, I think one must have been maybe 20, 22, the other one. She said, you think I want to stay here and pump gas my whole life? I said, but pumping gas, somebody has to do it. Because every profession is a human being, it takes a human being to do it. He said, I know that, but I'm looking forward for my future. So I cannot wait for DSH. Maybe I might get something in there. And you know the people, the enthusiastic about it. Everybody wants that big change. There's nothing down there, Brother Dave. Nothing.
Nothing in the South.
Brother Dave, you go down to...
a lot of people have said that to me. The South is dead. There is very little commercial activity.
I will give you one. I'll say something to you. There's not one dinner restaurant in Beaufort.
And that used to be a place.
Would you imagine
years ago? You can drive from Castries to...
You go to the Halcyon days. You remember during this day, there was another one called El Parata down.
Yeah.
There is not a dinner restaurant. If you pick up a young lady, you say, let's go down in the South and have dinner. There's nowhere you could go.
Wow.
Isn't that sad?
Very sad.
Nowhere you could go. Not a dinner restaurant where you could get a steak. Steak? Please. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, very, very sad. Right. So you are optimistic?
Of course.
And you're looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to DSH, not just because for myself, for my kids, and my grandkids, which I already have in this country. Listen to me, Dave. A migration, I could foresee a migration from Castries back down to the south. Because you have so many people from down Choiseul, Labrie, living, and they're just coming up, and because this is the area where they could try to find a job. If you have that kind of activity going down in the south, all these people would be so happy to go back home. Go back down to the south and work where they're much closer to home. People from Choiseul would be happy to get a job at DSH. People from Labrie. Let's make it happen. I have no objections to DSH. None at all. None. That stuff about the land and land being leased for 100 years and all that kind of stuff, listen to me. It might be stupid of me to say we met lands. We're going to leave land. Land for me is always meant to be developed and used by the people.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
I concur. And there was a press release today concerning some hotel development in Canal.
Oh yeah, Canal. I know about that
And
one.
I know that some areas in the south have been identified as touristic development. And that augurs well for the people of Soufrière in the south.
Of course, I know about that one. That one, as a matter of fact, when I first heard of that one, I thought it was supposed to be already on stream. But I think the gentleman, the owner of that resort, I think he went down to Suriname, and I think he got ill, and now he made a really, really remarkable recovery. So I think he's back now. So that is going to happen. That's a big development.
Yeah, 200 and something.
That's a big development.
Acres.
That's a big development.
Yeah, huge.
This one is big.
And it's a new tour. Well, they don't have any investments in St. Lucia. They have investments in Mexico, and in I think Jamaica, and somewhere in South America. So St. Lucia is a new destination for them, you know. Yeah. And what that does in the whole context of seats,
right.
You know, I heard someone on Sam Flood's program tonight, which kind of shocked me. And in my view, the government needs to do some work in explaining their tourism policy. I heard someone remarking, Isam no ka manger tourist. Tout bagay say tourist. Well, last done tout ça, you know, and this is, to some people, that is a concern, and I think that the government has its work cut out for it. You know, they really have to explain
what it's about.
Why is the focus on so many hotels? And the person who was speaking this evening was a bit erroneous, because they were saying nothing is happening to agriculture. When you heard the Minister of Agriculture just last week talk about markets expanding in France and so on.
Exactly.
And so I thought it was a bit unfair, and not balanced, you know, and brought up the whole issue of the hospitals of St. Jude and so on. So Isam no ka manger tourist, a tourist, a shy tourist, woy, you know, that's
but
all.
On the other breath, if you that same individual, I would really like to ask him just one question. Okay, let's just assume you take off the tourism industry from St. Lucia. We take it off. What else do you have to rely on? No one could answer that question, Brother Dave. None. The little agriculture we have, how much exportation do we do? The bananas, that's it.
Well, we have
and
to
we're
change.
only now trying to get, because listen to me, you have to really kudos to the Minister of Agriculture for getting that at the market in France.
Yeah.
You know?
I do agree, but I think there's a fundamental problem, there's a fundamental flaw, and that goes back to 25, 30 years ago. I have always felt, as far back as 1974, 1979, when the Labour Party came into office in 1979, because it was an issue then, that there are a lot of our policy makers who don't really understand tourism. They don't understand the importance of it to the economic development of the country.
Exactly.
They don't understand it. And I think that our politicians have not seized the moment. They have not really explained to the populace the importance of tourism development to the country.
Yep, it just goes back to my point about a few minutes ago when I said that there's a lot of people that believe that they're not involved with tourism. But this is our business. This is what brings all the revenue to this country. So, like you said, Brother Dave, and I will agree with you, the people of the Minister of Tourism, or the government by extension, needs to explain to the people the values of the tourism industry, what it brings to this country, how much money, the revenue it really generates. That has to be said. You understand? And look at, we just got that award, second in the entire Caribbean. Second to what was it, Bahamas or Bermuda? Second. Number 2. That is big. So when a guy calls the radio station and say, "Goodbye," I say, "Tourist."
It was very amusing, and I listen to these comments, and sometimes I'm saddened by it.
That's what pays the bills. Tourism, brother.
It saddens me.
There's no manufacturing. No manufacturing, nothing else. It's tourism and the little agriculture. That's
but we have. But what the government has to do is there are other industries they need to try to get back to basics and try to invest. Because the whole tourism thing, and you know, it's not our fault. There's a lot of suspicion about the industry up to now.
Yeah.
People just see it as a Caucasian thing, a Caucasian industry, white people.
White people, yeah.
You know, and that brings me to another point. I recall many years ago when I used to be at the hotels, going to a restaurant, and you know, you call up a waiter or waitress. And even the very attitude sometimes of our people when they're calling, you know, you snap your finger, hey, hello.
Yeah.
And, you know, the people would come to you. And sometimes very quietly, I'll be just seated and watching the attitude. The attitude
of the locals.
Of my friends seated before me to the person who he is trying to get some attention to order a burger or a drink.
Sure.
And I remember you know how many times I've gone to the bar and apologized
to the waiter
or waitress. Say, listen, I'm really sorry about the way my friend treated you. It's not his fault. Just forgive him. But I'm very happy. Just for my sake, you were very nice.
Yeah, we are loud people. Very disrespectful sometimes.
And that leads me to the point I wanted to make. And I went back. And I need your advice.
Right.
Some time ago, I went to this place to have breakfast. I'm not going to mention names.
Right.
A sumptuous breakfast. I really enjoyed it.
Right.
So I had some dental floss in my pocket. Because of late I've noticed the food sticks a lot. I guess, I don't know whether my gums are receding. I'm not sure.
Right.
But obviously I've got to see my dentist.
That's right.
So at the end of the meal, I use a dental floss, small piece of it, and I put it in the plate. I had finished having my breakfast. Now, it is not something that I would normally do. I would have put away, but I didn't know where to put it. I couldn't have thrown it anywhere.
No.
So the most natural place to put it was
on the table.
On the plate.
Exactly.
On the plate.
Because you're finished.
Right. So a few minutes later, the plate was taken and went to the kitchen, and somebody yelled, "Whose dental floss is that? Whose dental floss is that?"
You could hear that from the kitchen.
Yes, very, very loudly. I did not respond right away. I got the impression that the person must have thought it was somebody else's dental floss.
Right.
So I owned up and said, "It's mine." And she said, "Why would you put some dental floss in the plate? It's not hygienic." So I said it was not done deliberately, and quite frankly, I do not like your tone of voice.
Right.
If you had an issue with it, you could have mentioned it to me privately, quietly, but to make such a scene about something like that, which is, to me,
it's petty.
It's petty. And I'll tell you why it's petty. And I started looking at several scenarios where, you go to a restaurant, you have to use a spoon, cutlery to eat, the spoon, the fork, and so on. And when you suck a bone, man,
that's where you put it.
And that is when you suck a bone, dry.
You put it back on the plate.
You put it back on the plate. So all of these thoughts are in my mind, and I'm saying, so I said to her, what do you have soap and washing liquid for? It's to clean up those things.
Yeah.
What is all the fuss about? And just before I left, I gave her a good tongue lashing.
Right.
I said to her, listen, there's something called customer service. And you must not ever chase away your customers. Right. Okay? So I apologized if it offended you so much for placing the piece of dental floss in the plate. But by the same token, it did not give you any right to speak to a customer like that. Customers make business. And you need to know how to treat your customers. But it goes back to that point. It goes back to the point I was making earlier. St. Lucian business, especially tradespeople and small restaurant owners, do not know how to treat their customers. They act as though they're doing you a service.
A favor.
So when you mention about the police and the customs officers and the way they sound and how harsh they treat customers, it's wrong.
It is wrong.
And I'm telling customers out there, if I'm treated like that, I will let you have it. I'll give you a tongue lashing. It's not right.
It's true.
I've been to restaurants all over the world, man, in New York and California and London, and they don't treat you like that. They treat you with, sometimes, you have to give these people a tip because they're so good. We have a problem in this country.
We do have a serious problem.
We have a serious problem in this country.
And it has to do with customer service. I do not
We lack that. We lack that. We don't understand it.
Big time.
I think people act as though, you must come to me. You must come to me.
Remember Robbie made a song in that regard? Robbie made that song about Elijah Mama Vindip and say, and he say, Madam, that you just point out.
I can't remember that word. I can't remember that word.
We have a huge customer service problem.
Seriously. And you would understand that because by virtue of
my nature of my
and
job.
I do as a hotel guy for 12 years, 13 years, you know. But there's and you see it goes back to tourism. So it's all well and good for the government to open up all these hotels.
Yeah,
but all of the people need to be trained.
What about the training?
And they need to understand what's involved in the industry.
And I'll say something, and something that has to do with the tourist board. We used to have a workshop, almost every year, or twice a year. But for the last 5 to 10 years, it has not happened. The tourist board would come down to the airport and have a workshop with the red caps. Customer service, how to talk to the passengers. If somebody said they don't have any money, don't go off on that person. Just say, have a good day, enjoy your vacation. And this is where we learn that. I've been to so many of those seminars and those workshops. So many of them, but we have not had one in 5 or 10 years.
I want to ask you a question. If the roles were reversed and you had gone to this restaurant and you're treated that way, what would be your reaction?
Let me tell you something, Dave. I'm a very outspoken kind of guy. Very outspoken, and I do not let people...
Was my approach
not,
right?
Of course. You are, but you made a valid point in regards to if you suck a bone, it has to go back on the plate. Now, that piece of dental floss came from your mouth.
Yes.
But the bone also comes from your mouth.
Yes.
So you put the two on the same plate.
Precisely.
Now, the issue she is having is because probably that dental floss did come from the kitchen. So why is it coming? Why is it coming back to the kitchen? Maybe that's the issue she's having.
Wow.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I was shocked.
Nothing.
I was shocked. But we have so much more to discuss.
Yes.
Let's have our second and final break, and we need to open the lines. I suspect there's some people who probably want to ask you a question or two. You are viewing Mr. Chairman. I'm David Samuels, and I'm here with my good friend, and of course you know him. His name is Felix de Turville Champagne. Stay tuned.
Casabella, we know how to split in the middle, and we're doing it this year with a store-wide sale of 40 to 50% off. Choose from a wide selection of comforters and bed sheets, 50% off. Kitchen mats, 50% off. Towels and stainless steel pots and pans, 40% off. And the best quality rugs you'll find in stores at 50% off. It's the craziest pre-Christmas sale that you've been waiting for. Shop now and save 40 to 50% off on all your favorite housewares. Offer ends till stocks last. Casabella, a store created with you in mind, exclusively at Baywalk. Sale.
This Christmas will be your best ever with fixed hassle-free 24-hour approval of loans at relatively low interest rates. Get your new furniture and appliances, quick home repairs and gift purchases. All customers who participate in our Christmas promo qualify for a chance to win in our year-end draw. First prize, 1-core i5 laptop with all the bells and whistles. Second prize, 1-core i3 laptop. And third prize, 1 iPad. Call or visit us at number 15 Bridge Street, Castries, telephone 458-8700 or Providence Commercial Building, Rodney Bay, telephone 458-8740. Offer ends December 31st. Fix, a company you can trust.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice every day. Whoa, Fruta.
Mango plus clothing plus sale equals what? Answer 50% off. Shop at Mango and save up to 50% off. Ladies casual tops were $30, now $15. Working tops, long and short sleeves, ladies jeans, working skirts, and more. Remember, it's all going at 50% off and more. For the men, plaid shorts were $45, now $22.50. Men's hoodies, 3/4 jeans, long skinny jeans, and plaid shirts were $35, now $17.50. It's all going down at Mango Sportswear on Miku Street, Castries. 50% off and more now until stocks last.
Why is the e-fuel card becoming so popular?
The e-fuel card is becoming very popular because it's the cheapest way of buying fuel. Users of the e-fuel card at this Rubis station on Lance Road and the Salt Service station on Manuel Street will get back 30 cents on every gallon of fuel purchase, and that can be used towards any subsequent purchase of fuel.
How do you get money on the card?
It's as simple as using your card to purchase fuel. You hand over the amount of money you desire to put on the card and the card to the cashier, and the card is topped up accordingly. All of this happens in a matter of seconds. The fuel card can only be used for the purchase of fuel. Initially, the cards are given for free. However, any replacement of the card will cost the consumer $20. The e-fuel card can be obtained at the Rubis service station on Lance Road, the Salt service station on Manuel Street, the Uranora service station in Viewfort, and Jamari & Sons offices on Lance Road.
Remember, you should not use an open flame, match or lighter to check for gas leaks. In case of a leak, don't light matches, lighters or stoves.
Lincoln 912 North Queensberry Fire.
Hello there, welcome back. I'm David Samuels and I'm here with Champagne. Well, not the drinking.
Not the drink one.
Not the drink one. Not the drink one. The lines are opened. We've been already chatting quite a lot, and we will open the lines and give you the opportunity to chat with us. Please don't hesitate to do so. I wanted to talk to you about the flow situation.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of people are complaining in the country that because of the black box that is now part, they have been left without
cable.
You
Oh my God, I had so much encounters with people from my constituencies. This young lady walked up to me and she said, "Champion, what is going on? My sons," she has 2 young boys, and you know, they go to school during the week. But on a Saturday, she puts the television on so they could watch their cartoons, and these kids were crying. She said, "Champion, I don't know what to do." I said, "What happened?" She said, she cannot afford the boxes. but there's nowhere else, and so they have a television.
So people have a big television.
Big television in the living room, and they can't see anything.
Wow.
Can't see anything. Wow. You know, I don't know what the transition.
Could you hold on? Let's go to Union Terrace. Hi, Union. Are you there? Hello. Hello, Union.
Hello, I can't hear you.
I can hear you, though. I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, Dave. How are
Hi.
you?
Good evening. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
And good evening, Champagne.
Good night, sir. How you doing?
Champagne, where you get that shit from? I want one like that. That same color.
I'll have to order one for you.
No, Champagne, I really must compliment you on your presentation tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
We talk about View Fort, and I go back when in the days of being Field and Cloud's Nest and the days in View Fort. But you know, Champagne, when I hear all the controversy over View Fort and DSH, it reminds me of my late old friend Primrose Bledman. When I came back to St. Lucia, he gave me a line that I didn't know what it meant at the time. He gave me this line which you'll know. It says, Ibon Kosa. Apparently, there's a saying in St. Lucia, Ibon Kosa. And I asked him, what does that mean?
It's good like that.
It's good like that.
Bagala Boga, so the thing good. The thing good.
When I listen to the people who are opposing the development of View Fort, it reminds me of Primrose Bledman. It seems as though there's some people who are bent on leaving things as they are. Yeah. You know, I heard an argument over the different developments that the government wants, and it just baffles me, because you know, as a disaster man, I saw the destruction of the BVI recently, and by now you know who's speaking.
Right.
And I see the situation in Dominica, that things can turn around in a flash. And everybody's looking for development for themselves. And I don't know what is wrong with our people. But I want to compliment you and for being on the show, because it's people like you, as a bell cap. What's the right term?
Yeah, sky cap,
yeah,
red cap.
Sky cap in View Fort. You would understand on the ground what's going on. You see it and you hear it every day. So I want to compliment you. Now, Dave, I want to take a little more time to give you a little story, because I believe that lady in that restaurant was lucky. There was once a restaurant I was running, and one of the customers who came into that restaurant apparently wanted to chew on his bone or suck his bone, and he took off his false teeth and put it on the plate, and forgot the false teeth on the plate and sent it back to the kitchen. So then he came to the bar, the kitchen, and he said quietly, "Have you seen some false teeth anywhere?" You know, but you know, it's a serious note. You should tell the lady that there are normally toothpicks on the table.
Toothpicks, exactly.
In restaurants.
Toothpicks, that's
in fact, I did ask.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I asked.
So I hope next time you don't have to put your false teeth.
Well, you know, well, listen, I don't have false teeth, but you know, it would have been very interesting if I had and I had put it on the plate.
That would have been trouble. But Alice, before you leave, let me ask you, on a serious note, when you look at the areas of St. Lucia, places like Shantytown in View Fort and Fuasho and Barons Drive, you as a man that has always been out there in disastrous areas, like you were just in the BVI and you saw the how the hurricanes leveled these countries. What would you say to the people that are living out in these areas of St. Lucia in case we have a category 4 or 5 hurricane?
You know, it's sad, Champagne, because, you know, I mean, St. Lucia is lucky. St. Lucia is very lucky. I wouldn't say God loves St. Lucia, you know, because I met a priest. I interviewed a priest in the BVI in Virgin Gorda when 9 out of the 10 churches up there were totally destroyed. We are just lucky. It has nothing to do with God. It's nature. But, you know, the point is that it's sad when a government regardless which government it is trying to do something for the average person, because there are a lot of the people that you see kicking dust, the opposition members and the people who have their jobs there, whether they're legal profession, their legal professions and so on, that they can get out of politics and go into private practice and do this and do that. Are they really thinking of the people who do not have any qualifications, looking to be trained into some kind of skill in St. Lucia? We have so much to be grateful for.
Yep.
And these people are just playing sheer politics. I know it's on both sides of the fence. Let me just say this, because I want to sound balanced in a sense, but you know where my heart is. But we have to understand that St. Lucia cannot remain like that. They laughed at John Compton when he thought of Rodney Bay with all the mosquitoes. They criticized the tunnel. They will do everything. But right now, after spending so many years in the political arena, Dr. Kenny Anthony should be the last person, and his sidekick, Philip J. Pierre, should be really trying to support the government. I remember in Canada, there was a politician called Pierre Trudeau, and he was criticized with everything that he tried to do for Canada by a gentleman called Robert Stanfield. And when I think of Philip J. Pierre now, I know in my heart, and I feel in my heart, that Philip J. Pierre could never become Prime Minister of St. Lucia. He was acting. The Prime Minister refused to step down after promising 2 terms and give Philip J. Pierre a chance. And now he's in opposition. He is falling in the same trap. And he'll fall in the same trap as Robert Stanfield of Canada. You can check it out. Would never replace Pierre Elliott Trudeau as Prime Minister.
Okay.
He let a fellow called Maroney come in.
Yeah, we got to go, Lionel. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Nice
Right. Thank you very much for calling. And the lines are still open. We're talking about flow. And so you have a situation where...
Not one situation. A whole lot of people, excuse me, have been, stop me on the road and say, Champagne, we have no television.
So why are they complaining though? To me, I have not heard that issue being ventilated on the talk show.
The very people, they don't even have money to accommodate a box that they're not going to call a radio program. You understand? So the people, we do not know what it is, the technical aspect of it. Maybe there's a reason why Flo has it done that way.
But why aren't they communicating with the people? They ought to.
That is what
How
I'm saying.
could someone have TVs at their home
and they
can't tune to anything?
Is just taken away from them. That's really ridiculous.
And you just leave them there for weeks? That does not make any sense.
No sense. No television. No viewing. No channel. No nothing. No nothing. Come to at my house. When they came to my house, they said, "Oh, we're changing the whole system. We're going digital." So I said, "Well, okay." How? Then they said, we give you 1 box, and the other 2 you have to pay for it. So then these are the people that I'm not saying I'm a rich guy. I wish I was a rich guy, but then you have to have television. The girl said to me, Champagne, my children, they cannot watch their little cartoons on a Saturday morning. They're crying. And it's not just that one house. There were hundreds of homes in this country that is going for that problem.
Your assessment of Prime Minister Alan Chastain's
my
performance.
buddy. That's my buddy. Mr. Let me tell you something. This Prime Minister, he has a passion to move this country forward. Alan Chastain's, you hear talk of, he's flying there, he's flying there. Dave, you wouldn't know how hectic it is to travel. You have to get rid of this, get rid of that. Even if the Prime Minister is a diplomat, but sometimes it's still hectic to travel. This Prime Minister, in my mind, is putting things in place. When he gets started, this country will move so quickly. People will be shocked. I believe in this man. I believe Alan Chastain's is going to make St. Lucian proud. He's going to move this country. I give Alan Chastain's 95 approval rating. 95.
As high as that?
That's 95. I would give him the 100, but that would be a little bad. I would give him 95 approval rating. This man is on the go. The Prime Minister came, when he comes to the airport, every time he travels, he comes to Sky Caps. He talks to us, tells us everything that's going on. He said he brought a delegation. Sometime I think he went to England with them. And they were supposed to be out there for 8 days. By the 4th day, everybody had backed down. They cannot keep up.
Can't keep up with him.
Can't keep up with this man. This man is on the go. The Prime Minister said he went to France to 2 meetings. He called him in Washington the very same day. He had to fly back to Washington. So when people are out there thinking Alan Chastanet is having a joyride on aircraft, that's not what it is. This man is trying his best.
You know, Sam Flood told me something once. I think during the tenure of the UWP between 2006 and 2011.
Right.
I think Sam Flood went on
I
a tour,
think he and Ezekiel
a tour to
with
London.
England. Yes, I remember
And
seeing him going out
Sam
there.
Flood told me how tired he was.
Yeah, you can't keep up
like
with
Alan was just like some, how do you call the battery?
Yeah, the bunny.
He just couldn't.
Can't keep up with this guy.
Can't keep up.
Can't keep up with
He
Alan.
just keeps
Alan
going
is
and
on the
going
move.
and going
On
and
the
going.
move. It's on the move. So because of a lot of people know that stuff. Remember there was that rumor last time where he collapsed at the UN and all that kind of nonsense. Alan Chastanet is a human being, people have to take that into consideration. He will fall sick. If he has to collapse, he will collapse. A lot of people are of the view that Alan Chastanet is from heaven and he's an angel. Alan Chastanet is not an angel. Alan Chastanet is a human being. But this man will make this country, the people of this country proud. Yeah. Just remember I said that on that show tonight.
The third political party, the rumors of the what are you hearing? Any truth in that?
I don't know about you, but I'm hearing stuff like that. I'm hearing that in the air. But with my little experience, my few days in the politics, let me tell you something. My few days, the UWP and the Labour Party, in my opinion, these are traditional parties. Traditional. The UWP, listen to me. During the election, the campaign last year, early, I met 2 old ladies on the roadside, maybe 75, 80. You'll never believe that. With a little chair, Brother Dave, in their hand. I gave them a ride somewhere between Monrepo and Miko, somewhere in that area, maybe Tiroshe Gap. So they said they were going to a meeting in Patience. I said, what college? 6 Patience at the meeting? These people, they are loyal to their party. For you to say we are going to build a third party in this country, I'm not saying you might not get a few votes. Brother George was very vocal, very powerful.
That's a good
powerful.
Example. That's
Every young person at the time.
1982.
PLP. Powerful. And when the election was called, what happened?
Shock.
What happened?
Compy won 14 seats.
Okay.
Yep.
Now you could look at that time and say, "Oh, we're living in a different time. The young people are different now. They're more into." But I'm still saying to you, a third party, you need to come very, very good in this country. The third party, you have to come very well. The names I'm hearing out there, just the names I'm hearing, they can't survive. I am telling you that, and those people, if you come in with fresh people. New people with new initiatives, new ideas, new, and put it out there for the young people, especially the young people.
Youthful people.
Youthful people. You see these
people who can relate to the youth.
To the young people.
Yes.
To the young people. These people I'm hearing, let me tell you something. Most of them will lose their deposit. Most of those I'm telling you.
Yeah.
These people I'm hearing, they can't survive.
Yeah.
This country.
I'm hearing some things too.
Two traditional parties that. Some of the people that are loyal to their party, they don't even want a contract. They don't want money. They just want to know their party is in power. There are thousands of people like that, Brother Dave. I'm telling you. I talk to them all the time. No problem, party, so John Compton made a party, no swiftly from Ipala, no like party. You hear that all the time. You hear that all the time. You could call it stupidity if you want. It's up to you, but the people are loyal to their party.
Yeah.
And you talking about a third party, whoever is thinking about it, you all could go ahead, but I'm telling you tonight, they can't survive. Cannot survive.
I know you wanted to comment about the Castries mayor. There was this incident with the Castries Constituencies Council, the mayor.
With the statement regarding the police.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Your views on that.
The mayor never said anything wrong. Never. You and I, we grew up in Castries and we still reside in that area. On any given day, you don't see no police officers. I don't know if there's a deterrent with the police. All of a sudden, you do not see police officers nowhere in Castries, Brother Dave. I'm not saying that because...
They will argue that they're plain clothes.
Well, if they
will argue that.
If they're in plain clothes, well, at least that's a good move. But I'm telling you, the Marshall Police Station, a few years back, at midnight, shut down. I'm heading to Babano police station at midnight. It's closed. A police station is closed at midnight. So if you have an issue at 5:12, you have to shake a gate for a police officer to open the door. Now I'm seeing the Marshall Police station is open 24 hours, but it used to be closed at midnight. Wow. How could you close a police station at midnight? Yeah. People has issues. The mayor said absolutely nothing wrong.
In fact, that's when all the issues occur.
Exactly.
After midnight.
The mayor never said anything that was wrong, because what he said about not seeing police officers on duty in the city during the day, he's right. He's not wrong on that. He's right. There was a cruise ship. Well, now the cruise ship season has started. There were cruise ships 2 days ago, and somebody was doing a little survey, deliberate survey. The Holiday Taxi Association were the ones paying the SSU police officers during the day outside La Place Carenage. And it's in the daytime, on government time. Holiday Taxi is paying the police officers. So where the regular police that are supposed to be on duty to take care of the city? They don't know.
So, and the Police Welfare Association came out and defending. They were pissed off at that. Yeah, they seem very...
They were pissed off. They say it hits you.
That's another thing, you know. I find in St. Lucia today, people do not take criticism. Sometimes the moment you say something about them,
an observation,
yes,
they come
at you.
How are you?
You know, and I am not so sure about the situation of the police and how many police. But I drive all the time, and to me, I don't really see police on the streets, generally speaking, to be quite honest. I don't generally see them. But I'm not saying they're not there. But I don't think that the mayor would just make a carte blanche statement like that if he did not have solid reasons for thinking so.
Exactly.
So when the Police Welfare Association comes out and sort of defiantly, it just seems like being defensive.
But I tell you what the Police Welfare, Mr. Chico never said though. He never said that we have police officers assigned in certain areas in the city to defend that statement. He came out on the mayor saying, no, this is that, this. But he never said on any given day that we deploy 2 police officers on Jeremy Street, we deploy 2 on Brazil Street. He never said that. To defend what the mayor was saying, he never did that. You understand? Now listen to me. I love the police. Without the police, you don't have a country. I love the police. But I'm saying what the mayor said, he's not wrong. He's not wrong about it. We both grew up in the city. We still live in the city. Exactly. I drive the city throughout the roads of the city every day. You don't see anybody. When an incident happened on Chaussee Road, you see the guys come out there for a week, and after that, the situation dies down. Everybody goes home. There's nobody there.
Do you think that the fact that you now have city police may have given the Royal St. Lucia Police Force a feeling that, oh well, maybe we don't really have to go in the city anymore. We don't have to be there because maybe that is what is really going on.
That might be what's going on.
Any closing thoughts?
But
I mean, time is just amazing. I could stay here for another hour talking to you.
We chat so much that we diverted towards the sides all the time.
Yeah.
But I need to talk about Castries East. And that's my constituency. That's where I grew up. And I'm still there, as a matter of fact.
I mean, it is Philip Pierre's constituency.
No, it's not Philip Pierre's
You said it's your constituency.
No, it's my constituency.
I am putting it to you.
No, it's not Philip.
It is Philip J. Pierre's constituency.
No, it has never been Philip J. Pierre's constituency. Something that's yours, you take care of it. Right? If something belongs to you, you should cherish it and take care of it. I'll give you a scenario. On every given school day, in Castries East, there are over 100 children that don't go to school. They do not go to school. You're saying to me something was you never put something in place to make sure those kids go to school? Look at the houses. For 4 decades, I've been hearing the George Charles Boulevard. We're going to have a development there for the people. When it rains, the river comes right in there, takes all the people's furniture, those that's on the edge of the river. Nothing has been done. 4 decades. My mom, God bless her soul. I don't know my mother because she died when I was 2 years old. My last brother was a few months. She was a street vendor right on the side of opposite Brantford. You know Brantford, the pavement right there. My mom had all of her 4 boys. She used to sell little peanuts. That's what the older people told me. Peanuts, charcoal, little stuff to help her 4 boys. And every time I say, I get a little emotional. Would you believe that 53 years later, which is my age, a lot of people afraid to say their age. I feel good about my age. I thank God for keeping me every day. 53 years later, the Marshall Road, Marshall area is the same. It has not changed. 53 years later, Marshall, Main Street, Marshall, the last time it was paved was 1987, in the 1987 election. 1987. That's 30 years this year. So, if something is yours, you have not, 30 years the road has not been paved. Boulevard, same thing. Marshall Grounds, Philip Pierre came on in 2012. I remember listening to that speech on, bragging about the Marshall Grounds. We're going to redevelop Marshall Grounds, put lighting and the stands. We're going to take care. The Marshall stand, you don't even want to go there. You don't want to see it. The roof is gone. No toilets. Put a 2 forehead lights, 4 little sets of lights. Those lights have been, well, I don't want to say damaged, but they're not in operation. They're not lighting. It has been almost a year now. These lights are not functional. They're not working. None. This is a constituency of this guy has won 4 times. You know Marshall, Brother Dave. It's the same. You drive from Marshall. I have my last brother lives in New York. Every time he comes, he said, Champagne, when are you all doing something about Marshall? When? And there's nothing you could do.
It needs to be.
But people come from outside, and I'll tell you what happened with the politicians. There are certain areas, the people of Marshall and Shantytown, G4 and Barons Drive, they are only counted on election night.
Yeah.
That's it. They're only counted on election night. Pay no attention to all the hoo-ha people make noise about. And I'm not saying I'm going up for election, I'm just saying so. If I run for Castries East and win, you could never see this place the same way it is. Never. Yeah. I have a passion for my constituency. I believe, I want to see before God closes my eyes, see this place changes. Everybody say, me, I'm not going to Marshall there, but during the daytime, their kids come there and run sports. They come to a Burning Flame show. They come to a castle. It's the same Marshall they told you, I'm not coming there. Marshall is nowhere for somebody to go. But in the nighttime carnival, you know how many shows that Marshall? Nobody, everybody just came in, shows, football competitions, take money, leaves nothing with the community and just leave. And have this place in a mess. A total mess, this Marshall place. 400 and something households without toilets. 400. People have little latrines. 165 people goes to the bathroom in bags and throw it in the bush. In Castries East, 360 without water. This is not a make-up story, no better. This is a survey that we conducted, myself and Mr. Nathaniel Reynolds, during the 2014, 2015. And we were trying to, when Mr. Nathaniel wanted to run the seat. And you're saying this is a community, and you're saying this is my town? As a parliamentarian, Carby's town. Didn't take care of it. Never has. I see kids not going to school. I say, why you not in school? I say, my mommy can't send me to school. My mommy tell me stay home. Let me give you a little scenario. In 2014, I was driving down from work. There's the back road through Twapiton. You come down through Bacatel. I saw some kids, about 6 of them, playing football on the road. No, Bacatel has no flat. It's all hills. So I stopped the car. I said, tell your mommy, vote for the United Workers' Party, because I will make sure, I said me, Champagne, will make sure that we build you all a court in Bacatel. You would not believe I'm saying that and I have goosebumps. All these little kids, one grab the ball and they run, yeah, Mr. Champagne said they're going to build us a court. The people are waiting for stuff. It's all nice for the Prime Minister and whichever government is there to go on a national level to develop the country. But if you do not start from the constituency level, where your bases are, there's no survival. Yeah. No survival.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for the bit of history on Castries East. Yeah. And let's just say to be continued. We will continue that at some time.
When Castries East gets a little better, I will make sure I come here, Brother Dave. God bless us. I will come here and say, Brother Dave, something is happening in Castries East.
But thank you very much. Champagne was really nice. Felix de Tourville having you. Any closing thoughts? Very, very quickly. 30 seconds.
Well, I have to say to the people out there, the St. Lucian public, the Prime Minister asked for 3 years to get this country back on track. I see a lot of sincerity in these words. I believe Prime Minister Honorable Alan Shastney will try his best to get St. Lucia back on track. And I believe in my heart that he will make it happen in 2018.
Thank you very much. It was really a pleasure.
All the pleasure was mine.
You're such a great,
But we didn't even get to say too much. We divert so much. We went deviate so much. But the next time.
Got a great guest, and I'm quite sure, folks, that you enjoyed it as well. Champagne is really an extraordinary interviewee, extraordinary guest. So thank you to our one caller. I rather suspect, I thought perhaps the red cap guys in Viewport would have called, but they didn't. But, and that's it. And tomorrow and over the weekend, I'll be meeting in fact, interestingly, I met a lot of people over the weekend who said that they were trying to get the lines to ask Jugbois questions, and they couldn't get the line. Some sort of story. So it wouldn't surprise me if some people say the same thing. So, well, that's it. This program is going to be rebroadcast on Sunday at the same time, 8:30 until close down until 10, and on Wednesday morning next week. So on behalf of Champagne, our red cap friend at the Huanara International Airport, Mr. Felix de Tourville, this is David Samuel speaking on behalf of Bernard Fannis upstairs at the controls. This meeting is adjourned.